Welcome to the next edition of Missing the Point. I am Rayshawn Buchanan with my guy, the real BK Bob Kelly. This is a show that we're low key dreading, only because of how it ended. But we're here, after the end of the finals. The Golden State Warriors have been awarded their fourth championship in the last 8 years. So BK, what's going on, man? What's the raw emotion right now?
Um, at first, all right. So, in our group here, we've had a lot of back and forth the past really only the past 2 weeks, pretty much just the ends of that Miami series about who this team really was, man. And I believed in my heart that they had more fight and that it was gonna not necessarily we were gonna win because I always kind of felt like Golden State, they've Stephen Curry, they have a lot of pieces that are consistent, at a level that the Celtics don't have guys that are consistent at. But for that last two games to be what their stamp was on that great run, man. Like it was unbelievable. It was some of the best basketballs that I can remember, some of the more enjoyable basketball to watch. You know what I mean? And it's just for them to go out without a whimper, um, and just look overmatched, like they quit. I don't even want to say quit, but like just that they were done, bro. They were so done, and it was such a whimper from Tatum, such a whimper from, White, just down the line, man. No one showed up in that last game except for Jaylen. So no.
Yeah, I mean, Horford had a glimpse of.
Yeah, Horford, yeah, he had like 5 to 10 minutes where he
Yeah,
looked like
I mean, he was awesome in that third quarter. But yeah, I mean, let's just dive into that, right? So obviously, you went down the line of some guys that had some poor performances. So, but just elaborate more. Like, what do you think actually happened? Because, like you said, for them to, they sweep Brooklyn, they beat, defending champs to 7. They end up beating Miami, also in 7. So, just can we chalk it up to them being tired, or you know, can we speak more about maybe it was a mental block that they had once they got to this level? But just just what are some more takeaways you had, from the series as it unfolded?
I mean, I think it was pretty clear that inexperience played a huge role in this NBA Finals. You know what I mean? Like, you look at how the Warriors reacted to adversity at this big of a stage, and all those many storylines and like all these different things. They rose above it, and they even played better after all that scuffle about the Boston, all that shit. The Celtics just kind of shied away from it, and it just seemed like the moment all around, like even you may, got to get it right in the last show. Um, even he looked overmatched at times, or like the spotlight was too big for him. Like, there was just certain things that were happening through the series that we never saw coming into it. So I think a lot of it did have to do with the inexperience of never being there before. Um, I just When you think back to when you were 24 years old, could you handle a high intense pressure situation like you could at like 29, 30? You know what I mean? It's a
I mean,
whole different.
I can speak to that because I'm a teacher. So, and trust me, there's not too many more high pressure situations than being a teacher. Believe me. Uh, um, but no, you're right. Like, so being 24, shout out to Carol City, shout out to the Chiefs. Um, yeah, at Carol City at 24, when I started there, actually, no way, because it was kids not jumping off the wall literally, but just their energy was crazy.
Mhm.
It was a lot to handle. But yeah, but by the time my 5th year was there with them and I was there, there's like, hey, I've said to you, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I'm not sure why you're not in your seat. I'm not sure why you don't have your workout. Like, there's a way that you move around that you're more comfortable. You find your teacher voice, right? In a way. Um, they need to find their basketball voice in a way.
Mhm.
Find their basketball voice, find their basketball acumen,
Yeah.
whatever word you want to use, or they have to find that. Um, did they have sports where they did find it? Absolutely. Because obviously, they got to the finals, but the biggest thing for me, I talked about, what are our takeaways, and we have to start and maybe even end, unless there's other stuff that we think about, but it has to start and essentially end with the amount of turnovers.
100%.
Had.
1,000,000,000%.
Like he may use the word mind-boggling about Jaylen Brown. He's just about Tatum at times. He's really just about the whole team at times. But it is amazing to me how many turnovers this team had, and just really how many times they just gave something away. And I think like the stat was crazy. Like they had under 15 turnovers, like they were like 12-1 or something like that. And then basically if they had 16 or more, they had a losing record. So just just how much, just how much hurt or how much, I can't even think of the word. I'm so mad just even thinking about the fact that they turned the ball over so much, but just how do they rectify that going forward? Because it's just like, like that to me at this level when you're becoming a pro, like once again, these guys are in their fifth, sixth year. So yeah, we could say they're young, but there's no way ball handling should be that much of a problem that you can't dribble. So just, what they do going forward to rectify that, because like I said, it was ridiculous to see how that unfolded. Most of the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah, man. I don't like, Udoka said, mind-boggling. I don't know, man. I do not know what happened there. It's just like it's careless. You know what I mean? And I feel like it all comes back to me for experience, where it's like they feel like that, the Warriors aren't gonna be there to catch their lazy ass fucking passes over the middle, or you know what I mean? Like, the one that stands out to me, it was the first one in the first quarter where I knew we were in fucking trouble, where they were trying to set Rob up for what it was supposed to be, like one of those Tatum go around Rob and passes it to him, and like he goes around and Rob passes it back to Tatum. Bro, he pussy armed it and didn't get it over the guy that was in front of Rob. And it's like, how at this stage of the NBA finals, do or die, is that the pass that you think is okay? You know what I mean? That's what you're gonna come out with. That's what I kept saying. Like, this is what's happening right now, actually. I don't know, man. I honestly do not know, because it's the most mind-boggling thing of all. I think a lot of it just has to do with having a purpose on offense. I feel like a lot of times they just kind of get all willy-nilly and just pass it around, try and find the open dude. Or they decide that they're going to be a rhino and just run full speed into all five guys on defense. I don't know. It was mind-boggling. It was the most frustrating. It was honestly the most frustrating, like 25, 30 minutes of basketball I've ever watched in my life, because, bro, I was predicting it. I was predicting exactly what was about to happen. Like, I'd be like, oh, cool, we stopped them. How much you want to bet Jaylen puts his shoulder in the four dudes right here and gives it up? 3 seconds later, it would happen. I'd be like, yeah, there it is. And then the next one, oh, Marcus is going to throw some crazy ass pass behind his head across court, and it's going to get picked up. Fucking happened. It'd be like, bro,
Yeah,
what is going on? Is all I kept saying. What's that?
Even I said, I want to stay on last time before we kind of give a totality of what we thought for the whole series. But last night in particular, it's like, you start off 12-2. Maybe I didn't even 14-2. I think 14-2. I mean, the crowd. I mean, listen, I'm there. I'm upstairs.
On fire.
Is in there. I mean, they're like, let's go. Shout out to Bree that did our show last year. I ran to her, like, we was like, let's fucking go. Like, crowd was hyped. And then I think coming out that timeout, mind you, it was still 14-5. Like, Curry comes down, boom, hit a three. It's 14-5. Someone hits another three. It's 14-8. Then it's 14-10.
He is.
And then Golden State takes the lead in the first. And I remember saying in our group chat, I said, this might be hyperbolic, but this shit might be over already. And they were going to say only 5, but I'm like, you cannot start at 12-2 and then you're down 5 to head in that quarter. No, they scored 12 points in that first 5 minutes. They scored 39 in the half.
Yeah,
39 in the first half.
That's absurd, bro.
That's insane.
I did out
insane, bro.
I did out the math. I did out the math, and it's a half a point a minute.
Right.
Half a
That's the
point a
joke.
minute.
Oh my God. It was just like, what? Like, how does that happen that you only scored 27 more points in the rest of the half? And they basically go on a 50-20 run to end. At one point, it was like 21 straight. Like that's crazy to me. Like in a game that it was all the marbles, and I said it on another show I do, but I'm like, it's amazing to me that um I'm like I love y'all, but it was like, oh, we're fighting through. I'm like, yo, this shit's over, fam. But it's not a matter of,
Believe me.
you're giving up. Oh, you're not a real fan. Fuck all that. I'm realistic. I'm there. I'm seeing this is not TV. This is not you hearing Mike Green saying bang. Jason said you're not hearing that. I'm seeing the body language at timeouts because you're not seeing that when it's on. I'm seeing how they were walking to the timeouts. They looked dashed. They looked depressed. Like they were over this shit. They were ready for that shit to be over. They gave one final push in the third quarter, but I'm telling you, I've seen it on the floor. They was just like, we can't do anything with this team. We just can't. So that leads to what I want to ask you next. Like, what was the turning point to you in this series? Because I feel like we may have different views on this, but I want to know, what do you think was the turning point of the series?
The 2 missed free throws by Jaylen. That to me is such
in game 4.
In game 4, yeah. It's such a definitive moment in time that I went from this is over, we got this, to oh no. And the oh no has just kept getting, more and more frequent after that point. Like, because the 1-1 split, that was perfect. Exactly what you want. You know what I mean? Then you go ahead and win game 3, convincing fashion, right? Game 4, we were well on the way. It was close, but we were well on the way to taking that game and going up 3-1, man. Jaylen hits both those free throws. I think we go up by 6. He doesn't. Curry comes down, bangs a 3, and Golden State's up by 1. And it's such a big, you know what I mean? That's the swing of that emotion, man, to go from, we're going to hit these 2 free throws, we're going to go home 3-1, to seeing Stephen Curry rise up from fucking 87 feet and just bang home a 3 is just so demoralizing. Like, I thought I was demoralized. Can you imagine being Jaylen or Jayson or like any of those dudes and having that moment right in front of you? You blow it, and not only do you blow it, but the Warriors go right down and throw it right in your fucking face. It was such a swing of momentum in this series, man. And it from that moment on is when I saw
Yeah.
we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And then anytime we will get momentum, Stephen Curry would just fucking take it and put it right under his shoe and be like, nah, fuck that.
Yep.
38-footer.
Yeah. I mean, and so to me, and this may sound crazy, and I know what I'm about to say is going to be the unpopular game to say, because of how early it was in the series. To me, it was really game 2, and I know they ended up going up 2-1. I know that, but you had a chance to put a chokehold
You did.
on the series, and it was like they came out playing. All right, well, we could just kind of, we're happy with the split. That's the wrong mentality. If you have a team on the ropes and they was going back and forth, they was there, and you let them build that confidence. Now, granted, yes, you had a great game 3, whatever, that changed around, awesome. But to me, game 2 mentally is where it was lost. I know game 4 was the game that people was like, man, it goes 43, it goes crazy. But to me, either you could pick game 2 or you can pick game 5. Steph Curry goes 0 for 9, and I talked about this on the show. I said he's gonna have a game where he's gonna go 2 of 8 from 3 of 5-18, and that you got the game. You got he gave it to you on a silver platter, and he said, "No, I'm okay. I don't have it." Man went over. He basically said, "Here's a 3-2 lead here," and he's done it in every series that he's been in. Regardless of what you think of him as a player, best shit all time, I get it. He's given teams silver platter games every fucking time, and people don't capitalize unless it was LeBron James' choice.
Well, what happens is, Steph Curry can go 0-9 all he wants, but when I'm looking at it right now. When Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard all go for a combined 0 of 14 from 3, you're fucked. You know what I mean? You needed all those dudes to contribute in more of a way than any of them were prepared to at this stage, man. And yeah, I don't disagree about game 2 because there was a moment in game 2 where you're like, oh my God, are we actually, we're in this game too. Can we pull this out? And then it seemed like that's when Golden State kind of got their defensive confidence too. That's where they realized that, like, listen, when we lock down on these dudes, they can't do anything. And we couldn't, man. We couldn't do anything that
Draymond started to punk them in game 2.
Right.
I think he realized
that's when he put his feet on Jalen's face. That's when he did all that shit.
It was like, okay, let me make sure. Like, I think he realized, hey, these dudes ain't these dudes are real. I got to do something to shake the table, and that he did. He did more than ever. And I said, boy, at least speaking of Draymond, as we, story time, right? So I'm on the floor, like I said, I do security, windows to do security. Draymond walks by me. Yeah, motherfucker, I got 4. And I'm just sitting there with a stone. I can't say shit because they tell them to talk to the players, but I'm just like, I'm pissed because I want to respond. I want to trip him so bad. I want to trip him. I'm just like, I'm like, but I was so bad. But I'm like, and listen, his post today with the banners and it says nope. Listen, I know this is a Celtics show. That was fucking gold. It was gold. Because I'm like that would have been it's great. It was awesome. So I just like I said, listen, it was crazy. See what he did. It was even with him. He showed up last night too. 12 points, 8 rebounds, whatever, 9 assists, whatever, something like that. So
he was good last night. He was good. Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing. He hit it when they started
that corner 3. That corner 3, bro. That was it. Yeah.
The crowd was like, well, if he's 10 knees, like,
that was Dagger.
What can you do? Like,
that was Dagger in the second quarter.
I was like, wow. I'm like, if Draymond Green's hitting corner 3s,
you're fucked.
Like, what do you do? And even there was another play in the third when he hit a 2 when they basically, Boston was storming back and they played defense, but they had a couple of plays just going back and forth. And then he gets it, hits it from the top of the key.
The shot clock, the buzzer beater, right? For the
all you hear is Draymond Green, timeout, something. And it's just like, if he says shots like this, like you're not. It's like that's what Marcus. And Marcus said, like, you're not beating us if Marcus is on because it's like, what do you do? You can't. If he's on, listen. He just showed up last night. They got. So when he shows up, they usually win. So
can we talk about him?
Right? Yeah, let's talk about him. I just, to me, very disappointing performance overall from him. But just but like I said, you can give your thoughts to just what just what did you see from him, or what didn't you see from him in this series?
Oh, look who's here. Yeah, no, it was Marcus was atrocious, bro. He was the worst version of himself for 60% of that series. There's moments where you're like, let's go, Marcus. You see the crazy shots going in. You see him doing the Marcus things that he does, getting the offensive fouls, but then he'll throw it behind the head, somehow at the same time through the legs pass right to a Warrior, and they go down, and it's a momentum killer. It's just, it always seemed like when it was the most inopportune moment to force a pass or make a terrible pass, he was doing it at that moment, and he was taking all his Marcus shots that we don't want him to take. It just, I don't know. I had by that 6th game, bro, I had it with Marcus Smart. It was just every game was a microcosm of his goddamn Celtics career. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, Marcus. Oh, Marcus. Like every game you had that reaction at least once. And it was the most frustrating thing in the world because you know what this guy can do, man. You know what he can do. And he was a detriment to the Celtics in this series when we needed him to be the heart and soul. We needed him to be all these things, but he was the exact opposite, where he was either in foul trouble, turning the ball over, or missing threes. That's how I saw him in the finals today.
Right. No, absolutely. And actually, we're joined now by our guy, DK.
Steph DK?
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. No,
I didn't want to. Sorry, I'm late. I was crying.
You're doing research.
I didn't want to cry in front of my friends.
Yeah. You're good. So no, man, just speak to what you saw from Marcus in the series. Just how, basically his play, didn't help us the most. So just what were your thoughts about him in the series?
I just think, I mean, I get where Bobby's coming from. I mean, I think he did a lot of frustrating shit. I'm trying my best to be like clear-headed about the entirety of this roster, considering like what they did. I get that it's difficult. It's only been, it's been less than 24 hours since that fucking gut punch, but at the time of recording. But as far as Marcus goes, I mean, he just to play devil's advocate to what Bobby was saying, I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but I think that like he did have his fucking hands full with specifically the Golden State Warriors. You know what I mean? I think with the kind of guards you're dealing with and the amount of attention he had to pay to Steph Curry on the other side and how difficult it was, not like, we all saw Steph coming into this series as a shooting threat in the first two games. Like that's kind of what it was. You react to that and then you forget that he can, like, if he goes left, like he's so fast and like he doesn't miss layups and like we miss a lot of layups. And I think that like Marcus had his hands full on the defensive side of the ball. I think that this is going to be sort of a theme of what I think about the whole series. I just think I understand the thought of like the Celtics beat themselves because of the heights that we saw them get to and like the things that they achieved and the things Marcus achieved even, in that microcosm, like Bobby was saying. But I just really think that like the Warriors came in with a great game plan. And I think that they saw I'm not disagreeing with you, Bobby. I think you're right. But I think that didn't happen on its own. I think the Warriors made that happen. I think that they're like, this is what we can make. This is the kind of game we can make Marcus Smart play if we want to. If we like smother him and we frustrate him. And like you saw in game 6, they were doing it better than in any other game. Like he caught him on a couple of kind of like soft flops. And then they just started going right back at him with it. You know what I mean? That same exact type of gamesmanship. They were going right back at him. You could see in his eyes, he was just like, oh, motherfucker. Like they kind of out Marcus Smart a little bit. And I think that he's the kind of player, he's emotional. He's going to play right into their hands, So I think you're not wrong. And I'm not saying this in defense of Marcus Smart, but I think you have to maybe give the Warriors a little credit for drawing that out of him,
I do.
No, sure.
I do, but his newfound love of bounce passes was the most frustrating
But
thing.
that was true across the board. The lazy passes, like
Yeah,
that was, and I'm sure you guys have discussed it already. I mean, it's been true all playoffs. There's been dumb fucking lazy passes all playoffs from everybody. Why we decided to go into game 6 thinking Rob Williams is a point guard, I have no fucking idea. I mean, it's like they had a great game plan, man. I mean, you got to say, like, a team that comes in with this many finals under their belt, and forgive me if I'm repeating what you guys have already said, but a team that comes in with this many finals under their belt, you could just see the experience, especially in that last game last night. Like you saw what Steph was doing. Like he was just there to win a closeout game, like in the playoffs in general, and especially in the finals. He's just been there. There was a moment where Andrew Wiggins was on Jayson Tatum. I don't know if you guys have touched on this. And Steph just started walking away and was like, just shoot it. And it was like, oh my God, he fucking knows it's over. Like, oh my God, like, fuck. I mean, I should too, but I was like in denial about it. And it's just like, I don't know. When did we all start pretending the Warriors weren't good? You know what I mean? Like they are good.
Well, no, I'm glad you said that last part, because I wanted to ask if this is something that you and I spoke about, I think, before the series. Are you ready to come around and admit that they were the deeper team?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like they shouldn't have been though. It didn't make any sense to me that they were the deeper team. Like I was just, you were right. I was definitely wrong, but it's like, where did our rule?
I didn't want to be right. Let me make that clear.
Of course. I get it. I mean, we all have our fucking flaws when it comes to watching this team. Like emotionally, like I think denial is one of my biggest. The thing is like, where did our guys
Guilty.
Go?
Yeah.
Where did they go? Like at home, especially, like where was Derek White? Like, and his floater and his great decision making when he's inside the perimeter. Where was Peyton Pritchard's, couple of big threes when he's coming off the bench. Where was Grant Williams' corner threes for the entirety of the series? Like, it was like they went there and just completely lost their identity. And I think if you want to talk about things we discussed, we fucking discussed them not, ever being there before, and the occasion being a little too big for them. I think that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Right, but I mean, Grant, that was the case for both sides. I would except for obviously, you have your best players that have been there, but it was Wiggins' first time, it was Poole's first time, Porter's first time. All those guys played, especially Wiggins. Listen, I was already saying that he was getting, but man, Andrew Wiggins changed my mentality about him.
Tenfold.
Looked like a number 1 pick. All right, and that fucking.
But the thing is,
for sure,
you got to remember, bro, that doesn't matter. If you haven't been there and you have dudes on your team that haven't just been there once, haven't just been there, these guys have been to the finals 6 times. So, like, any time that there was a shred of doubt or like a shred of inexperience that pops up, Curry's like, hey, don't fucking do that. That Dave Chappelle skit where he's like, every time a crime happens, a dude pops out of the boat. Hey, don't do that. That's 5 to 10. That was Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. That's 4 turnovers. That's a fucking game. Like, that's exactly what happened throughout that. And you could see it, man. Like, but
to me, it came that exactly what you're talking about came down to 2 moments. Like, it came in game 5. It was, we came back, the momentum was with us, and we fucking choked. And then in game 6,
so hard.
I know that it didn't look like it, but in game 6, there was a stretch in the 3rd quarter where they could not fucking make a shot. The Warriors could not fucking make a shot. And it was like
8.
And it was like, we got within 8. We should have been fucking ahead if we were actually converting our fucking chances. And honestly, I mean, look, this might be like the day after Blues talking, but like offensively, like it sucks to watch like Derek White take a 3 to try to bail you out of a fucking offensive slump. And as much as like even Al was making big shots, he was making those big shots, and I was happy they were going in. I was like, a Big Al, yeah, we've seen this before, but I was like, why is it him? Why is it him that's doing this? Not in this situation in the finals. Like, where are the guys? Where is Jayson Tatum? Like, where the fuck was he?
Before we do move to Tatum, because we definitely need to talk about all that, can I just give you guys some cumulative numbers from those role players from game 5 or 6? I know this is gonna hurt a lot. Just like, this is gonna really hurt. So, Derek White, game 5? My bad. Derek White, game 5, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from the 3. Grant Williams, game 4. Or game 5. 1 of 2, 0 of 1 from 3. Peyton Pritchard from on game 5, 0 of 3, 0 of 3 from 3 points. Right, Jaylen Brown.
You guys do Grant Williams already?
No, we didn't really get into any of the role
players. What the fuck happened to Grant Williams?
Wait, hang on. Then we go to game 6, right? Like, it is Grant Williams is really bad too, but so Derek White in game 6, 1 of 6, 0 of 2 from 3. That puts him at a combined 1 of 10, and 0 of 5 from 3 in the last 2 games. Peyton Pritchard, 0 of 2, 0 of 2, which puts him at 0 of 5 in the last 2 games. Grant Williams, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Actually, 50% from the field, but 0 of 2 from 3. And like you said, he's just disappeared. So, I mean, that's a great, what the fuck happened?
What happened to him? Like,
what happened?
I feel like he got benched. Was he a ghost when he was out there, or was he not out there? Because I really didn't see. Game 6, he was barely out there.
Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals was the first time I noticed it. In that stretch where Miami was taking over at the end, where he just looked like the moment was too fucking big for him. And then it just continued from there on out. It was like he froze in that moment. He was getting beat everywhere.
He thinks he's a star player though. So like, how is that? Makes sense.
No, but Draymond, he verbalized it. He said, you want to beat me? And like I said, I made the tweet saying that he'll never want to beat, but he absolutely is looking to be Draymond. And he basically looked at, well, this is what I'm looking to get to, and he couldn't fucking match it. Because that should be someone that can get you 10 to 12 points, 5 rebounds, a few assists. It looks different, but we see him play great defense this this playoff run. So much to the point that people were saying, resign him right away. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was something there.
I think that was here.
Just was. No, it wasn't me. It was Mike. Actually, Mike said it.
All right, no,
That's what I said. Mike said it here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but wow, that's more than that's how much.
That feels like fucking 6 years ago, doesn't it?
It does. Right. Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. But
I've aged that much in the last.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, I got a terrible playoff beard myself, and my hair looks all crazy on the low. But yeah, I don't know. I just think him, you know, Pritchard, you know, all those guys became, you know, unplayable after a while, and
Literally,
because you
literally
can't go.
unplayable.
Yeah, you cannot. And this is what I was thinking about the depth, right? It was cool in the regular season to go 7-8 deep, because once they changed it, you know, they really took off. But that works in the regular season because it's like, okay, guys are not playing every game. Some guys take nights off, whether it's low management or they're just not trying as hard. You could get there. You could be the 2000s Phoenix Suns doing that. Fine. That's great. But even in the playoffs, you need guys that can steal 5 to 7 minutes for you, and then you put your guys back on. People were like, man, how are you taking Steph Curry out? They can take Steph Curry out because they know Clay is going to do his thing. Dre's going to do his thing from a defensive standpoint. Arthur Porter coming in here with a few threes for them. Like they just have it there. So it's like about 5 guys that can do it consistently. Well, yes, they had guys that had moments. Once again, I was right halfway about Derek White in the previous set. He won the series. He did. He won it. It was just Miami. Not again. I wish it was this series. He'd want them as opposed to that. But either way, they got there. It's fine. But it's just like that what it came down to. Like having those guys, that having your 8, 9, and 10 guys that can actually contribute. That matters. And
sure,
you know,
but I also just think I agree that like 8, 9, and 10, it was glaringly weak throughout the entire playoffs. But I just had faith that our rotation was fine. Like the shorter rotation was fine because it was working. But I think it's like I don't want to sit around and blame the fucking role players for that loss. You know what I mean? It's like, it's about what you're asking them to do. Like, are you asking them to come in and spell JT and JB and like, you know, okay, guys, we're up 12. You're going to do 5 minutes. Make sure we're at least still up 7 when you come off the court. Like, are you asking them to do that? Or are you asking them to be like, okay, guys, we're down 15. You guys got to go get us some buckets. It's like, that's what we were.
All right, Derek, go win us the game, bro. Let's go.
But that's the thing. It's not fair. It's not a fair thing to ask them. And like, the thing is if you're a role player, right? Like, look at fucking Jordan Poole, right? Like, there's a perfect example. The dude was hitting shots like he was Steph Curry because he's standing next to Steph Curry doing the same shit, you know? That gives the role players confidence. It gives them green lights. It gives them the ability. You could see the hesitation on jump shooting trickle from the top all the way down.
Oh yeah.
You could see it all the way down. And it like, we almost overcorrected. Like, it's like a couple seasons ago, you're in the bubble. You're like, guys, you're fucking taking too many jump shots. Then you get in this sweet spot where it's like, okay, great. Like, remember, you know, everybody remembers. I mean, it's not going to matter now. Nothing fucking matters and life is meaningless. But do you remember the almost jump shot that Marcus took in game 1 against the Bucks?
It's the Nets. It was
against the Nets. Yes, it was against the Nets, right?
The audible no from the crowd.
Yes, game 1 splits the defense. You already know the rest of the story. Fucking passes it to JT. JT spins fucking Kyrie like a traffic cone, puts it in. We win the game. That is what I want to see, right? That's a good decision. What they can't seem to do is like not just do one or the other all of the fucking time. Like, because they just stopped shooting good looks in game 6 because their confidence was fucking shot. And I think it trickles down from the top. Now, look, I mean, can we move on to JT? I'd like, you know, is it time? Do you want, you know, the thing is like, I'm a fierce defender of him. I think he's an unbelievably talented player. I was posting Conor McGregor, go fuck yourself memes all night last night, like drinking fucking sake well into the fucking 3 hours in the morning, crying into my fucking chest. But, and like, look, I still believe it. I mean, if you like, honestly, if you genuinely believe, like, so I'm not going to rehash this because everybody missed the point anyway. See what I did there?
Hey.
If you honestly believe that basketball skill level wise, like, you know, size for position, shot creation, going to a finals of 24, that he's not like more talented than Paul Pierce, then you don't know basketball. So I can't really have a discussion with you. However, yeah, I mean, he's not him though. There is that. There is this mental side to it that I think is unfortunately we all wanted to get answered this year. And I think game 6 against Milwaukee, we all thought maybe it was, but Ray, is he soft? Like what happened?
I mean, I really hope that it was an injury. Like, I really do. Because if
Me too.
not, if not, we're in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
We are. Like,
But it's so weird. It was so
it is.
weird.
It is. Because it's like there's moments, and we've seen it. There's moments when he has the "fuck you, get out of my way" mentality. He's and this is maybe hyperbolic, but he might be a top 3 player in this league.
Yeah,
Like,
and those
and those when he just said, "Get out of my way," like I'm gonna do whatever.
That picture that's been going around the internet when he's got that stare down, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I just
He didn't know.
I don't
He was wide-eyed.
know. Yeah, big
whole time.
I might,
The
so
whole time.
definitely happy to be there. And I know this thing about the 24 and 25. I mean, look, Dave, you're the one that made the rant about it a year or some change ago. How long are we gonna say?
Yeah.
They're this age. So I'm honestly at this moment I'm tired of hearing.
He's 53 in basketball years.
Yeah, so, right. But it's just like, damn, it's like what the fuck? But no, I'm hoping it's injury, but I feel like it's definitely something mental. But
just think about the historic no-shows in the finals of some of the greatest players ever when they were too goddamn young for the moment, when the moment was so much bigger than they even realized. I mean, you remember LeBron on the Heat in that Dallas series, bro? He was awful. The greatest player we've ever. He was not good in that final.
I know, but you can pinpoint it in basketball sense why. Right, but the weirdness of Jayson Tatum's performance. So fucking strange why he decided to play like that.
But like it's just you got to take a step back from this disappointment because it was so weird to me. Because it was such an outlier and such a you know what I mean, a difference from what we normally see from, like, we talked about this earlier, those air balls, man. That to me is the number one reason on the list why something was up, whether it was injury, whether it was him just being too young, too scared of the moment.
But you can't just yada yada over that, because that's the most important question. Is it his fucking brain broken or his shoulder broken? Because if it's his brain,
but not broken though. I just think, bro, I said this to Ray earlier, right? If you look back, right, at who you were at 24 years old, when you were put in a high pressure, intense situation that's going to affect the rest of your life, you shit your pants. It is what.
Yeah, I showed up every time though. Bad example. I fucking showed up every time.
I disagree with that.
I come to play.
Last I checked,
not everybody's like me.
Last I checked, you moved to California to be with a girl that you're no longer with. Is that correct?
Yeah, that relationship.
So
let me tell you something. That girl was not the NBA.
Oh,
okay.
But I'm just saying.
That girl was round one.
The fallout from such a big moment, right? Sorry, Leah. I'm sorry. I didn't. My bad.
Why? Leah's still here.
She was fair.
there you go. Dude, that's a dream, baby. She got
the show.
Like the repercussions for
each other too well. This is
it's been a while.
Sorry,
especially after this fucking 3-week stretch. But like, it's such a big difference from when you're 29, from when you're 28. You know what I mean? And I just feel like when you have all this shit stacked on top of you, when you're that young, man, when you have an entire NBA franchise, when you have Cedric Maxwell calling you the fucking GOAT, when you have all this shit going on, man, and on top of it, your fucking shoulder hurts. You know what I mean? It's just, there was so many different things I feel like that led to what we saw in that NBA finals of him just being, because it wasn't like he was bad. Okay. It wasn't like he was bad. He was a completely different basketball player. You know, he just had a completely different feel.
That's what makes me think it's the shoulder, though.
Right, and it was either the injury or it could have been a combo of both. You know, I feel like that's really, yes, he probably could have overcompensated for that injury. Maybe had a couple of good shooting nights if it wasn't the goddamn NBA finals.
Right.
But it was. So, you know, it's just. Yeah.
So there's three, as I heard both of you guys, there's three different finals I want him to look at over the summer. If someone's near him in his camp, DK may not like where I'm going with this because of the team we bring up, because it is our rival, the Lakers. I want him to look at the 83 finals. Magic had already won 2. He already won twice. They got swept by Philly. People calling him tragic Magic. He won't get it done again. He hasn't won 3 more. His idol, Kobe, had already had a 3-peat. Got smacked by Detroit. Kobe did not show up that series. People can say what they want, but like Kobe became. Look back at those numbers that he had against Detroit. Rip Hamilton and the boys shut him down except for game 2. And then 2013, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard misses those 2 free throws like Jaylen Brown did. They come back the next year and annihilate the Miami Heat. I want him to look back at those series, look back at those players, because those are 3 guys that people consider, to be, top guys, obviously, especially the first 2 I named, and draw from that. Cause like I said, those are guys that already well, Kawhi didn't win at that time, but he won the next year. But Magic had already won, and people were saying that these guys were whatever. Oh my God, I can't believe they did this. How do you show up like this? So we got to pump the brakes on.
No, I agree. I agree.
We got to pump the brakes about how bad. Like I said, it was bad.
Yeah. It's day 1
to make it see. No, but no. This is we say it's day 1, but this is 2022.
I thought you were going to go.
This is like last all summer.
I thought you were going to go 84. I thought you were going to go Magic loses to Larry.
No, I'm saying we didn't sweep the Lakers at 84. I'm saying Philadelphia swept them. Right. No, it went game 7, and
but it was a disaster, is what you're saying. It was a disaster.
No,
right.
Sure. But then he comes back the next year and hits the game winner in Boston. So it's just like, and that's the first time I think LA had beat Boston ever in the finals. So I get it. So I just hope that he maybe look back and draw that. Just like, look, they were clowning these great players. We talked about Shaq in Orlando. I think I shared it on Twitter earlier. That Orlando team, to me, reminds me of the Celtics team. Got to the finals pretty easily. Had 2 young, great stars. We didn't get swept, but Orlando gets swept. You basically never heard from them again for a while. So I mean, it's kind of in between, but I don't know. But just what are your thoughts about that? Or either one of y'all can jump in on that.
No, so the Orlando thing I thought was interesting. It was the first one that stuck out to me where I was like, okay, that's a comparison that like I get. But Shaq was already out of there at that point. Everyone knew Shaq was leaving. This is just it's to a point now where it's like when you go down, like I already said, man, when you go down the notable list of people who have had collapses and who have shit themselves in the NBA finals, it is endless, man. I mean, you have Curry blowing a 3-1 lead, right? You have LeBron no-showing against the Mavericks. You have Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden not showing up against who did they play? Miami. Yeah, it was the Heat. It's just you go down the list, man, and it's just player after player after player. When they weren't ready for the moment, you don't just have like he was okay. No, in the NBA Finals, it is the spotlight, bro. If you fuck up, if you do these things when you're expected to not just be good, you're expected to be great and amazing, it's gonna be 10 times returned back on you. So it's just you gotta pump the brakes, Celtics Nation, when it comes to Jayson Tatum, because the dude's special. I know he had a shitty finals, and I get it, man. I was just as frustrated last night as you were because he wasn't even close. You know what I mean? Like there were moments where you're like, all right, Tatum, let's go. That's the guy. Then he would airball 2 shots in a row. It'd be like, oh fuck, what? What the fuck is that?
He had a couple threes early.
Threes, bro. Yeah.
I said, here we go. I was like, yes, like I can hear DK from California, like, yes, that's what we fucking need. And
that's literally what I was saying.
But it's
like, oh my God, like what happened from
just,
but yeah,
when you think about the guys who don't have a title at the age of 24, and I know this is, it's all relative because, some guys come in league at different age, all that shit. I get it. Jordan, LeBron, Curry, KD, Giannis, Shaq, Wilt, Malone, and Hakeem. None of them had a title by the age of 24. And I think only 2 of them had been to a finals by the age of 24. It's like, guys, just take a step back. Look at your history. Just look at what's happened throughout NBA history. They are ahead of schedule for where they are supposed to be. And Jayson Tatum is such a huge part of that. Was he an even bigger part of why we fucking lost this series? 100%.
Sure.
Right.
I would just
Come
add on to that point, Bobby, is it's maybe it's because we're in Boston, like we're in the Boston fan base, and we hear this stuff way louder than other fan bases. But I think Luka's a great comparison point because Luka got to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, nobody thought the Warriors were going to do what they did this season. And in retrospect, that seems really stupid. Like considering like it's still Steph and Clay and Draymond and they still know how to win a fucking finals. It seems dumb to think about. But Luka is apparently the next fucking big thing. And I'm not really sure he gets beat with the same stick as Jayson Tatum does when he goes farther and fails. You know what I mean? Like doesn't just go to a conference finals. So it is this kind of weird thing where the more successful you are without doing it, the more shit you're going to take for not doing it. And I think LeBron is a good example because I was having a great time talking about how LeBron didn't have a championship yet when they lost to the Mavericks that year. I was having a fucking wonderful time thinking that Miami Heat team wasn't going to be anything.
I remember posting the memes. Oh, I didn't get your phone call. My phone went to LeBron mode.
Right.
No ring.
Yeah.
No
right.
ring.
Right.
And I remember like yesterday.
What it makes me think is in the age of the internet, and look, we've been talking to the Boston Celtics fan base directly for a few weeks and months now. And like, I just want to add on to what Bobby was saying. And I need you guys to take this in good faith because I know we don't get along. Me and Twitter, me and Celtics Twitter. I know since the whole Paul Pierce thing, whatever, but you got to hear me on this. You really got to hear me on this. These players, these are 24-year-old kids. They have Twitter. They have Instagram. And it's the player empowerment era. Like this is the era of players doing whatever the fuck they want, going wherever the fuck they want. If you guys don't shut the fuck up and shut the fuck up real soon, he's going to leave. You're going to get what you want.
I'm so stressed.
You're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you want. You're going to get Jayson Tatum to go somewhere else. And you're going to have complained your way out of a generational fucking player.
And then he
didn't have a fucking great finals. And I hope, like we talked about, I hope his brain isn't broken. And I hope like whatever. He's so talented. I'm not even sure it's going to matter. But guys, come on. Like we weren't even supposed to be in the finals. You know what it reminds me of? I know we're not supposed to talk about Louis C.K. because he jacked off in front of those two girls, but he had this great joke where he was like, he's like, I got on.
What a criminal he is. What a fucking criminal.
We're not going to debate that right now. So the point, I mean, it's a Boston sports podcast. I think you can guess where we all fucking stand on that. But listen, we're all fucking pieces of shit. I look like an extra out of the fucking town right now. But the point is,
look at us.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is the most fucking. Anyway, somebody get me a natty ice. So
we're gonna go bro out.
Here's the thing. He's got this great joke where he goes, it was before the era of like Wi-Fi being on planes all the time. Right. And he's in first class because he's like still, he hasn't gotten caught jerking off in front of anybody yet. And they're taking off and the stewardess goes, and forgive me if I'm butchering the joke, but the stewardess goes, hey, we're trying out this new thing just for first class passengers. We have actual Wi-Fi on the plane. So you guys are going to get to do that. And everyone's like, oh, okay. That's great. That's amazing. And they take off and they try to turn the Wi-Fi on. The stewardess gets on the thing. She's like, oh, sorry. We tried to get it to work and it's not working. And the guy next to him, like this guy in like a two-piece Brooks Brothers fucking suit is like, ugh, typical. And he's like, you're mad that you don't get something that you didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago. That's the human condition, right? So because they got to the finals, you're mad at them for not winning the finals. They were 11th in the fucking East not too long ago. And not for nothing, but we were here talking about that. I'm not sure what the fuck all these new people were doing that are like mad at Jayson Tatum and fucking mad at the fucking Boston Celtics. Not sure where you guys were. Didn't hear from you much back then. Didn't hear from you much, but now you're fucking mad that they lost in the finals. We weren't even supposed to be there. We weren't supposed to get past we weren't supposed to get past the Nets. We certainly weren't supposed to sweep them. We weren't supposed to get past the Bucks. Every fucking commercial on television was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Fuck it. People still thought the Heat were going to beat us, even though we definitely should have fucking beat them in 4 games. For some reason, we went to 7. And there it is. You know, you're in the fucking finals and you don't win against probably the best fucking finals team of our generation. Give me a fucking break. Get off their back, you know? You didn't know about the plane Wi-Fi until 5 fucking minutes ago. You can't be mad that you should be marveling at the fact that you're in the air, that you're flying through the fucking sky. The Wright brothers invented air travel. And you're mad that there's no Wi-Fi? You spoiled fucking brats. Come on. Lighten up. It's fine. Future's bright. Like Bobby's right. He's 24.
You did a great job with that joke, by the way. You
Yeah,
didn't butcher it at all. Yeah, that was perfect.
That's
I know.
awesome.
I know the
Right, though.
exact. I know the exact interview you taught. You did it like on Letterman or some shit,
Yeah.
right? It was a whole.
Now that I've told it, is it cool if I jerk off in front of you guys?
Absolutely not. Oh my God! Now, well, let's speak about his Robin, his Batman, whoever you want to compare, make him in the series. But Jaylen Brown, man, obviously last night he closed this out, has 37, 7-5, I believe. So Bobby, I'll start with you. Just what did you see in Jaylen this series? That made you confident, in his play going forward.
I mean, he was a perfect 2, man. He did exactly what a 2 is supposed to do when your 1 isn't being a 1. And he kept you in the game and gave you a chance to win. Granted, had some of the most frustrating turnovers and literally the turning point of the series on those 2 missed free throws. But then Tatum one-upped them as a 1 would do, going 2 for 6 the next game. So, it was a whole thing. But no, I just think you tell that negative fucking voice in the back of my head from that game is still fucking there. I'm like, yeah, well, this fucking asshole, man. Anyway, he was awesome, man. He was exactly what we wanted him to be. And again, it's just I don't want to sound like a broken record. The moment was too goddamn big for him when it came down to those nut crunch, those moments that you need him to hit that shot, or you need this, or he reverted right back to what he was in that Miami series, where he would drive into 3 people and fucking knock them over like bowling
At
pins.
least he was trying to make something happen.
Agreed. No, agreed. That's what I mean. He was the perfect 2 where he kept us in the game. He kept shit rolling, but like,
he's like the only one in my mind
the
who really can't give
consist-
shit to, considering is like he was about to be. If we won that series, he would have been fucking Finals MVP.
I mean, I'll give him. Listen, the turnovers in those 2 missed free throws are so fucking.
But they all turn the fucking ball over a ton, and he's gonna touch the ball.
Then there's gonna be a narrative with literally every single Celtic we talk about.
He's gonna touch the ball a lot. I get there was some frustrating turnovers in there. Don't get me wrong. I think that he needs to learn to like not be on fucking roller skates when he's going downhill. But he touches the ball a shitload, and we play fast. The Warriors have been living with high turnover rates for a decade because they play so quickly. Like, to me, it was the turnovers. I know that's the narrative, but to me, it wasn't the turnovers. To me, it was not scoring when we needed to fucking score. And it like the turnovers wasn't that. It was the missed layups. It was the rebounds. Yesterday, we weren't even fucking trying to rebound.
They weren't even trying to get those fucking rebounds
Crazy.
yesterday.
I was like, that's the part where you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's game 6 of the fucking finals. Can you try? I'll get in there and fucking box out, Rob.
Yeah.
So it's fucking.
No, he can't. Jaylen Brown.
That's why I keep getting there.
Like, even though he's one of the more athletic guys on the team, Jaylen Brown could not play fast.
Bro, it goes.
He had to. And there's a reason why T-Mac is his favorite player of all time. T-Mac, that lazy, just laid back guy, do the 1-2 dribble. He plays very much like him. He's not as good as T-Mac obviously was, but he plays very much like him.
He's as athletic, if not.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just the thing is, what T-Mac could do at any time, that rise up 3 or mid range, like T-Mac was ridiculous at that, right? But T-Mac was never sped up. Like, he always played at his pace, regardless of where he was at. Whether it be Toronto, Houston, whatever. Like, he always played at Orlando, I should say. Always played at his pace. So that's where Jaylen Brown's got to get. Because when he plays under control, he's fucking unguardable. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think his jump shot. I think his jump shot is borderline unguardable because he goes 6 inches higher than most.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking jump shot.
When he's all like that, so go ahead, Bobby.
The thing with Jay, he's 2 different players, right? He's one player pre 4 dribbles, and then he is a completely different player after he dribbles the ball above 4 to 5 times. Because it's like I don't know if it's in his head now or what it is, but like you could see it. he starts to panic once that ball is on the floor and he's dribbling in space and he sees that defense coming in on him. He sees those hands, bro. He panicked so many times in that series where he would shoot like a turnaround jumper that had no shot, or he would just stop and have everyone collapse in on him. What he's got to do is exactly what we kept saying. He's got to drive with purpose. He's got to know where the fuck he's going. And when he does that, bro, like you said, he's fucking unguardable. When Jaylen gets to his spots, man, he's unbelievable. But when he doesn't, he was just a completely different player to me all series. It's like when you could call it out, you knew when he was about to turn the ball. At least I know I did. When he was driving in and he would be up at like the top of the 3-point line, drive to the corner of the key, and then drive back over to the free throw line. And he would just be stuck in the middle of the fucking paint with the ball. And none of the Celtics are fucking moving. And then they collapse in on me, turn the ball over. It was
but in those situations, the exact same thing would happen. And then right as he got to the free throw line, he would pull up and he would fucking make it like every single time.
Right, agreed. So
I was saying it, and I swear to God, I said it at the start of every single game for the last 20 games. I was like, Jaylen Brown mid-range, Jaylen Brown mid-range, Jaylen Brown mid-range. And this is the thing that the Celtics were doing though overall. They kept giving up on shit that was working. Like they kept fucking doing that. And it's like that's
been happening
for years.
It's just like
it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe honestly, the last 5 years it's been like that.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like they would move the ball with Brad and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, ISO.
Let's keep let's go to ISO. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like if it's not broke, we don't fix it. And once again, it's like the drive and kick to shoot a three. I get that it's a new game. You have to do that. Just to even just keep you in the game. But getting twos, whether it be a mid range or a layup, stops the bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Golden
They kind of did it. They kind of did it yesterday. There was flashes of them doing it the right way.
Yeah, in the third quarter for sure. But the reason why Golden State had been so dominant these last 7-8 years, really last decade, honestly, they could score from everywhere on the floor. People speak to their threes. Oh my God, they shoot threes from half court.
I thought their volume on threes was actually lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, for sure. But it's lower because they know, okay, if I need to up fake, they'll go and shoot it too.
That was working for us too. Why stop doing it?
But they just do it over and over and over again. And once again,
they don't abandon.
Curry kind of good at that. We joked about Harrison Barnes, but Harrison Barnes early on in their first run, he was good at that. Wiggins was phenomenal in that during that. Sean Livingston's one of the best I've seen in the mid range. Like people forget how good he was because he had his torn ACL. But Sean Livingston from mid range was Rip Hamilton, but light skin. Like it was unbelievable. It was crazy. So
I don't know what Rip Hamilton looks like behind the mask. I choose that.
He's mask or not, he's not as light as Sean Livingston. But yeah. So I just think that there's just you have to be able to score from every part of the floor, and that's what is always separated Golden State. So we can say, oh, their 3-point shooting changed the game. Fine, you can say all you want, but they get analytics, whatever you want. They get to the hole, they get to the cup better than most, and then they shoot the mid-range game.
They never stop playing.
They never stop playing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, what's crazy is the Celtics can also do that. It's just they get their own they get stuck in their own ways. Yeah. And I said this about when we were talking about Rob, is like they overcompensate for literally everything that happens throughout the course of like an emotional high high stakes game. Is literally what they do the entire goddamn game. Is like, oh, okay, we didn't play great so we're gonna step it up. We're gonna outscore you by 20. But then we made our comeback already, so we're gonna take our foots off the brakes a little bit. The driving kicks, it just felt like that they stopped. Driving kicks work when your primary objective is to drive and to get to the basket.
You have to establish
right. The kick has to be your second. It's like a play action in football. The kick has to be your secondary, bro. Yeah. It has to be your secondary. They have to respect and truly believe that you're gonna make that take to the hoop for that kick out to work. That's why it worked in Milwaukee. That's why it worked for us all these times. But when when they know that you're just going to drive it into the hole and you're going to get stripped or you're going to get stuffed or you're going to get knocked down and try and get the foul and it's not going to, the driving kick ain't going to work because they're just going to shut you the fuck down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And they just kept going to that same well. It was like they just expected it eventually to work.
But that's such a frustrating thing because they, like we talked about, they go away from stuff that is working and then they fucking stick to stuff that isn't. Right. Like they need it to fucking work. Like I right off the top of my head, just without even really thinking about it. Why did we stop posting Marcus on Steph? It was working. Why did we stop? They just stopped. They didn't adjust. Like they didn't do anything to stop it. We just stopped doing it. Yep. Game 4, Tatum lights out at the very start of the game. Like he's just, every time he touches the ball, he's doing everything right. He's playmaking. He can get in his rhythm. Doesn't touch the ball again for 10 minutes. Jaylen Brown mid-range, said it every single fucking game. Jaylen Brown mid-range, it's working. When he goes left, they're not going with him. They haven't adjusted. Keep murdering them until they adjust. Keep doing it until they adjust. But because, and it's I want to say it's a carryover from the Brad Stevens era, honestly, because I think Ime and any coach, really, any basketball coach can only do so much. There has to be, especially in the finals, there has to be a core group of guys out there figuring it out for themselves. Like there just has to be. And I think it's going to be like a weird thing, but I'm going to try to explain it. It's almost like they play too much team basketball at times where I'm like you don't have to stop being hot when you get hot. Like you can just stay hot. It's fine.
I said that last,
And it's like, dude,
so frustrating.
What happens if you just keep going to Jayson? Like, okay, so it doesn't matter, right? We stop going to him and we fuck up anyway and we blow the lead. If you just keep going to him, like just one heat check shot, just just let him just check. You know, well, it's okay if he misses. Like that's when it's okay if he misses because he's made his last 3. But they don't do that. They don't move on to that next phase. Like, if I could just take fucking Jimmy Butler's brain and just drop it into fucking Jayson Tatum's body, I swear to God, we'd have a fucking championship right now.
But doesn't matter. But that's where I'm at is that I get it. I know Tatum should be, give me the fucking ball. I want the fucking ball.
He needed to be that guy so many times and he just didn't do it in this final series. And it's very upsetting.
But is it that he, again, is he too young that he doesn't want to, he respects Udoka's opinion too much. And he was like, okay, yeah, no, let's run our offense. Let's do our thing. That game 4, bro, Rayshawn, you asked me earlier, another counterpoint in the series. So it was the Jaylen free throws, but also literally, me and DK were ranting about it in the Discord at the time. That 4-minute stretch, bro, where they didn't give the ball to Tatum and they ran 4 straight plays. I think they ran 2 for Marcus, like 1 for Derek White and 1 for Jaylen. And it was 0 for 4 with like a turnover. And by the time that stretch was over, we were back down like 6 to 8. And it's like, bro, Jayson Tatum was cooking. And that could have been what got him going. And you just went away from him and let the game flow get out of his hands, bro. And that it's a
sweet thing, right?
But it's for someone with a bum shoulder, man. If he's hitting those shots and he's looking good, like let him shoot that goddamn ball, man.
But you know this story. I mean, there's been a million fucking stories about Kobe since he passed away. Well, one of the best ones is like, oh, we're getting our asses kicked. I forget who was telling it. Fucking, I don't know, Harrison fucking Barnes or some shit. Like on some podcast. They go into the locker room and they're getting their asses kicked. And Kobe's like, okay, here's the fucking deal. Every time we go up the floor, I touch the ball. Every single time we go up the floor, I touch.
Oh, Lou Will. Yeah.
It's every single fucking time I go, that's the deal. I'm not asking. I'm fucking telling you. Every time I need to touch the ball at least once. And honestly, it does 2 things. It makes the other team think about your star player. And it also gives your team an objective. You know, you go like, oh, like you have the 24-second clock offense, then you have 14-second clock offense. You go like, okay, Kobe's touched the ball twice. Jason's touched the ball twice. That's our objective. Now we see where we're at because when he touches the ball, the other team has to react. They have to fucking react to what he's about to do. And when we were doing that, it was working, you know, Christ almighty, how good was he on a double team all fucking playoffs? He figured that out. Every time they double team him, every single time he had it figured out until he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, Ray, come on. You know everything there is to fucking know about basketball. Like you have all the fucking knowledge in your head. Like, what happened?
Right. No, wait, I know, Ray, I'm not, it was so consistent this series though. It was such a separate piece where it's like for the first 3 rounds, when Tatum was hot, when he was cooking, when Tatum was being Tatum,
I don't think
they would let him.
Miami series, to be honest with you, like comparably, but it's a different conversation.
But like it just had such a different feel to it. You know what I mean? It was so different. Where the most consistent thing I said this entire finals, the number one thing, is let Jayson Tatum fucking cook. Let him do his thing, and it just felt like they didn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean that's part of the issue, right? I think that obviously, and we go back, I think about a year ago when they hired Ime, and he mentioned that the team wasn't good when it came to assists. That's what we're going to improve on, and they did for the most part, right? They became a really great team when it came to ball movement. However, there's moments when, like you said, you have to say, you know what, I need the ball. Everyone get out the way. Like I think I remember it might have been, I don't know if it was in the playoffs, but I remember it might have been the first year that Paul, the big three got together, and this is when KG and them were doing press conferences together after the games, and they say, KG, what was the game plan tonight? He said the plan was to get the ball to Paul, everyone get the fuck out the way.
Yeah, I remember that.
And this is Kevin Garnett, Boston time All-Star.
Was it Cleveland? I think it was.
It might have been. It might have been. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. So it's like get the ball to Paul Pierce, everybody get the fuck out the way. So this is KG, established, was the best player on our team, saying give the ball to Paul. Like, so there's certain moments when, like I said, you have to give the game what the game requires.
Mm-hmm.
There was certain games that it says that it required for Tatum to be that guy that we saw in Game 6 against Milwaukee, and not the guy that we saw in Game 7 against Miami, where it was like, even though he had 26 points, but it was like, okay, well,
you know the difference.
And that's cool, but it's just like, bro, we needed 35, 10, and 8, and then, like I said, you couldn't even get to 20 here. And it's like, and it's a shame because, like I said, he is someone that
couldn't even get to 15.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's ridiculous, but he was making so many of the great reads and reacted properly most of the time. Like I said, I just think that sometimes when this team in general has to do too much thinking, and it's wild because you would think, okay, you're professionals, but when they have to do too much thinking, that's when the game becomes muddy for them for whatever reason. Right. So when they just say, okay, I'm just gonna go on and just play basketball.
That's why we're so good at starting.
Exactly. 100. So it was ridiculous.
But the Warriors knew that though. They were like, we're gonna weather a storm, really.
But that's exactly. But that's where I'm just like, where, and I said this before you would join us after the tears you were shedding. They basically was like, okay, you guys are up 12-2, all right, or 14-2. Curry comes in at 3. Do this. I would not.
I didn't even leave that first.
I said. And honestly, and I mean, so much that you were checking out our chat. I was like, this game is over. Or it was already over after the first. And I'm like, you cannot be up 10 already and then be down by 5 or 6. Like the only score. And I said it early on, but the only score 27 more points after that moment is
fucking absurd.
It's real.
Absurd.
It's wild.
The longest run by a team in a finals ever. Right, last 15 years or whatever.
Ridiculous.
We had 14 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and then we had 37 points.
That's mental though. It's mental. You don't forget how to shoot basketball. You're Marcus Smart. You don't forget how to fucking score a fucking layup. If you're Jaylen Brown, you don't forget how to shoot a jump shot.
I got that thinking point that you made is, I think, that's such a.
I think they need to play a fucking 8-second offense. To be honest with you,
I would love
the fucking Phoenix Suns in what year was that? That fucking.
No, I mean it'd be exciting, but then you still don't win. So
because
even though, like, if you're that talented, I don't know, whatever.
They had National Martin shot like, but
I know, but like the shooting, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But, even they traded for Shaq. That was their downfall.
That's true. That's true.
Even
unforgettable seasons podcast later on.
Yeah, no. Even in those moments, right, where they try and stop thinking and speed it up, when they've already gotten into that mindset, I think this all goes back to like that overcorrecting thing, where it's like, they try and move at a quick pace. They try and do things crisp. after they've gotten into that stalled mindset, because that was such a big thing in Game 6, where they just stalled and they just stopped moving. They stopped, getting that extra pass. They stopped doing all these things. And then all of a sudden they go to this other mode where they go too fast for their moment, where they don't take a step back and think about the moment they're in and think about, okay, this is the time where we need to stop. This is the time where we need to go ahead and make that extra pass and do these things. And that's usually when we get those big turnovers and missed free throws or whatever the case may be. It's just, I just think it all comes back, man. And I hate to be this guy for like the third fucking straight year, but like it all comes back to inexperience and how much more experienced the other team was than you. They knew when those big moments were in the game, they knew how to recognize those moments and capitalize on them. When the Celtics were in a big moment, think about this series, when they were in a moment where they had to do something to either win the game, stay in the game, complete your comeback, whatever the case may be. They didn't just they fucking blew it. When the Warriors were in a moment where they needed to extend their lead or they needed that motivation push, what happened? Poole's hitting half-court shots. Stephen Curry's hitting 34-footers. Draymond's hitting fucking corner threes. It's just this.
They also left Draymond open for the entirety of the first 3 fucking games. So like eventually those are going to start falling.
Yeah,
like,
well, for sure. But I'm just like
open.
when you look at the whole series as a whole, it's like I get the overreaction. I get the the shittiness and how I'm even feeling. But like, you got to think about how 6 finals to 0. That is such a big disparity. You know what I mean? And Jaylen, Jayson, even Al, all these guys are experiencing the pace of this game. Everything from the NBA Finals for the first time. Stephen Curry walks in that shit like it was Saturday night at a restaurant, and he was the best bartender in that goddamn
fucking
place.
Tuesday at a cafe.
And Jayson Tatum is the waiter over here who's worked 3 lunch shifts. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, come on. Like it's a fucking comparison.
Yeah,
like,
but at the same on the same token, I appreciate that rant. I think that was very accurate. But on the same token, I want to ask you guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like there was, look, I love Jayson Tatum. I'm not jumping on the fucking bandwagon of hating on him. I don't think he's mentally weak. That remains to be seen. I agree with you that
you started the bandwagon just 2.5 years too early.
Yeah, I know. That's what I do. I'm like Palpatine in Star Wars. Both armies are actually mine. But no, I mean honestly, that was stupid though. Like that was fucking dumb that I said that. Like, I mean, if we're being honest here, like just
it was content creation.
We're just starting to fucking. Yeah, I was trying to say controversial shit. You know what I mean? Like here we fucking are. We have a podcast. People are listening. I'm trying to just tell you the truth now, but I gotta ask this honest question. You're gonna fucking. I told you guys I didn't like that fucking armband. Like I didn't like that fucking armband. I didn't like that Instagram post.
Yeah.
I don't wear purple and gold and green. Like it's that. But forget all that. Forget all the pageantry of it. And I love pageantry of any kind, as you guys know. But forget all the fucking pageantry of it. Forget all that stuff that you're like putting forward. You want to be like Kobe Bryant. Here's how you're emulating Kobe Bryant so far. You're a really good jump shooter. You can slash. I don't know if you guys remember when Kobe first came in the league. He was fucking pure slasher. Like he was just fucking like dribbling all over the fucking place.
He almost invented the Euro step in the NBA.
Yeah,
brought it back.
Yeah.
He brought it back.
Yeah, like you've got a bunch of different ways to score. You can make your own shot. That's how you're emulating Kobe Bryant. Here's what I'd love you to work on the offseason. I'd love you to get a post game. That'd be great. Would love that. If you could go to the post game store, buy yourself a post game, that'd be amazing. Just like what's Dirk Nowitzki doing? Can he like just go work out with you all summer? Like that'd be great. Regardless of that, stop trying to be like Kobe when it comes to jump shooting and floaters and turnaround jump shots. Kobe Bryant was a fucking psycho. He wanted to win above anything else. Anything else. When you get there, when you're up here gets there, that's when you can start to say, he's my dude. You know who Kobe's dude was? Michael Jordan. Kobe thought he could beat Michael Jordan at one-on-one from the fucking first day he stepped onto a fucking basketball court. All right? He's too nice of a guy sometimes. Am I out of line saying that? He's too fucking nice of a guy sometimes. He needs a little bit more. He needs to be a bigger prick. You know what I mean? Like, just be a bigger asshole. Like, just it's that gives you get the fuck out of my way to all the guys on the team, and that gives you the other fucking. Remember when Draymond, like I disagreed with you, Ray, when he said that Draymond punked him like with the whole fucking ball thing. I really wanted him to turn around and be like, fucking take the ball, fucking take the ball, fuck you, like right in his shit. But he was kind of walking away like, you're not taking it, in his own way, trying to do his thing. Be an asshole in those situations. You're the best fucking player on the court if you want to be. Like, be a prick. Am I wrong? You also, you played for the Boston Celtics. Like, we'll ride with you. It's cool.
No, I totally agree. I think that, that mindset has to be developed. Obviously, Kobe came up with the womb, a natural born killer, right? That's just, shout out to Ice Cube. But like, he's just someone that just came out the womb saying, I am.
And I just found out his kid played him in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was so good.
He's so good.
It was just like,
he does, but I was like, I don't know. I was like, oh, dude, kind of.
Ice Cube and de-age him? Like, what happened?
Yeah, it's so fucking. And then he was like, just in everyone. And I was like, wait, that's Ice Cube's kid? He looks just like, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. He was in Den of Thieves too, but that wasn't another show, another name. Anyway, but
great fucking movie.
It is. It was great. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, listen, he has to be. He has to develop that mentality for sure. JB definitely has it already. We've seen it at times. So yeah, I think Tatum just has to get there. But I want to transition to the last part. I know we're getting a little long on time. So now, we've dissected, we've cried, we've yelled, we've screamed about the playoffs. It's over. We've got through it. So now we're into the offseason. Obviously, there's not much draft wise because they only have the 53rd pick. They traded their first round pick to San Antonio this year. It was this year or next year. I think they could swap for San Antonio. So this year. They're not doing much draft wise. So DK, I'll start with you, but just what do you think going into the offseason we need to do to improve the team? And just, who are some players you would like to see maybe join the Celtics in the offseason?
Bradley Beal. If I can afford him. I have no fucking idea, but come play with your buddy.
Yeah.
Come play with your friend. Take a pay cut. His fucking shooting, like, his spot up fucking jump shooting, like, would be instrumental. As an overall theme, and like I won't prattle on about this for too long, I would love to get, I think his name is Claxton from Brooklyn, because he's a free agent this year. I think he's probably going to re-sign with them, but he's like Rob Williams was like 2 years ago, and I think they could absolutely be the Smash Brothers in the front court. Like he's got all the thing. He also has the thing where he played like 30% of the season or some shit because he's like always fucking injured, but he's got all those same qualities.
He's perfect.
He's exactly right. But I just think
what to do. I hate my life.
No, it's fine. Maybe you could get him. Maybe you could get him to be injured when Rob isn't, and Rob to be injured when he is.
Perfect.
Yeah, it works out great. The two of them combined make one healthy player. Right. But no, I really do think he's good, and I think that he's coming into his own, and I think size-wise, he's like perfect for the way that we play basketball. Like Rob Williams is perfect for the way that we play basketball. I think getting Rob Williams to 100%. Then they need to spend time, money, send him to fucking Germany. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but just just replace the shit that keeps breaking inside of him like a fucking, like a car. And give him a rest, load management in the regular season. Anyway,
it's enough about it.
Yeah, I know. It's if he was 100% though. Anyway, it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
So, the point being, Claxton would be great. If we got a blockbuster sign like Bradley Beal, it'd be great. I don't think we can afford Zach LaVine, who's like probably the most prominent free agent coming up. I'm not even sure he would fit because like Evan Fournier was like a really shitty version of Zach LaVine, and it wasn't even that Evan Fournier wasn't good. It was like he didn't really make sense in our team for whatever reason. I think the biggest thing we need to do, to be honest with you, is I just like don't want to rely on the Grant Williamses of the world to win a series again. I don't want to rely on the Derek Whites of the world to win a series. I think if Derek White was our ninth best guy instead of like our seventh best guy, I think we would have been in much better shape. So, and a scoring wing guy that can like really spell Jayson and Jaylen, so they kind of don't have to spell each other, because I think they figured out how to play at the same time in a really effective way. Like obviously we made it to the fucking NBA finals. So yeah, some sort of guy like that. I know I've been banging the drum about our front court, but like I like our front court now. Like I think Al's a great rebounder. I think he's an underrated rebounder, to be honest with you. I think he always takes up the right position. I think I don't see any reason why he can't run it back again. I think you should sign him, to whatever. He already got his incentives this year. He already got an extra $5 million or whatever it was just by making it this far. So like he's fine. And I think Rob, if he stays healthy, is great. Like we talked about extensively. I think he's really leveled up. I mean, would I like DeAndre Ayton if he was available? Sure. But like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I think our front court's fine. I really think like an additional wing to take the load off those guys. I know Mike has been banging the drum for like a pure point guard, but like, again, like, is that basketball now? Like, do we need Rajon Rondo on this team? Like we don't have spot up jump shooters. We move the basketball.
They might though.
I mean, I'd take Rajon Rondo. I would literally take Rajon Rondo right now. No problem. So we can play a half court game a little bit more effectively, but we do play this kind of position as basketball thing that works. So I don't mind Marcus at the 1, to be honest with you. I know Bobby was talking shit about him when I got here, but like, you guys tell me, you really think we need like a true point guard?
So I have an answer for who that target could be for you. Doesn't break the bank. He's not too much. Ricky Rubio.
I need to say that.
Is a guy who I know the Celtics have had.
Doesn't he break the bank
in the past?
What was his last contract?
No, it's different now. Yeah,
he's a $9 to $12 million a year player. Like that's nothing in the NBA now. Yeah, he's not
weird, huh? Like Ricky Rubio, weird.
Another one who's not much of a pure guard. He's kind of the Derek White mold. Dante Exum. I've been hearing a lot of the Celtics are looking at him. Yeah, he's
a big one. He's a big one.
He's that Derek White, Marcus Smart mold. He's that same type of guy where he can score some nights. He's awful a lot of nights, but he's always good on defense. So
a little
exactly what we like. So the other guy obviously is Beal. I don't see a way where we were talking about this earlier. If we go after Beal, Marcus has to go. In my opinion, he has to.
No, that's completely fine.
That's completely fine.
That's a
different tier. That's a different tier.
No, I completely agree. But
go West, young man.
That's the only move, or that's the only thing I would be okay with breaking up the core that just went over that hump, everything like that.
Zach LaVine over Marcus?
It's a different position. If you're going to do that, then you need to have someone come in.
I thought you said he had to go just as a cap room, not necessarily.
No, but that's big. He's a big. He's LaVine is 6'6", right? We're talking about positionless basketball. If you could get LaVine,
Tatum and Brown,
you can't like that would be an also 1, 2, 3 at And now that great, he's not the defender. Obviously, those other two are, but.
You can make him fucking defender.
He can dig. You're 6'6". Like you can find a way to be that guy.
Do you think we need a spot up jump shooter, like a pure shooter?
Yes.
Is that still a thing?
I'm gonna give my personal opinion. I didn't know Bobby was done, but I'm like, can I go? Or you still have somebody you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no, I got one, and I don't know if it's gonna be popular. I don't know how we're gonna feel about this. Duncan Robinson, I think, is a guy that would be really good in the situation because he's that spot up shooter. He's what the Celtics wanted Derek White to be in that Milwaukee series. You know what I mean?
He's what they wanted Neesmith to be.
Exactly. Where it's double
Neesmith to go up a level though.
Double. I love Neesmith, so I hope so. I don't see it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah,
he's trying real hard though. Like his effort was up.
Yeah. When people were double.
Yeah, I mean, when he was out there, it meant the game was over.
It was done. Yeah. Except for that Spurs game, but it was stop.
Yeah.
Who was I just talking to? Duncan Robinson, right?
Duncan Robinson. I don't really like him though.
When Tatum, I don't either. But I can tell you this, man. When Tatum gets doubled, or when Brown gets doubled, or whatever, and they do that kick out cross court pass to our guard standing on the wing, wide open for 3. You better believe I'm gonna feel a lot better about that shot.
Are you paying like fucking $20 million a year for him? Like, are we really selling that out? Like,
that's too much.
You can't pay $20 million a year for Duncan Robinson.
Do you know what though? He may finish the TPE though.
I was just gonna say he fits right into the TPE.
So that's the case. Then it doesn't count. It won't count against the salary. If that's the case,
he fits right in.
Go get him. If that's the case, go get him. If that's the case, but I'm not the biggest fan. But if that's the case, yeah, for sure, definitely go get him. That leads into what I was going to talk about, because he's also in the same state. I love Terrence Ross. I do. I've been a Terrence Ross guy for a long time.
So is Brad. Brad's liked him since the Toronto days.
Well, he's no longer Flight 31 days, but Terrence Ross. But that dude can go. You want to talk about a guy that can get buckets when you need it? Like Dave will buy stock on him immediately. Like that is.
I'm still spending the money on my Jeff Teague stock.
Dave's with his stock buying. That's just Dave's like Bear Stearns of the sports stock world.
I'm just smoking. Sell.
He's like, yeah, baby. Your stock is 30 cents. Let's buy it.
I've seen him play a ton. I do know exactly why you like him though, and I do like him too.
Yeah.
But
he's a wing guy. You know how I feel about wings.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, he's a guy. This is another guy that hasn't really been spoken about. Willie Cauley-Stein, I think, is someone that could be a viable backup to Rob.
I was gonna say he's gonna be like your seventh guy, eighth guy though.
No, but that's fine. Rob's not gonna be on the Crows. You need someone that's he's
a Tice upgrade. He's a Tice
exactly.
Upgrade. Yeah. We need a Tice upgrade. He's
7'1". He's not a shooter, obviously, but he's 7'1".
If you're over 7 feet, you can be on the Celtics according to
think about this was this comparison when he came out in 2015. Because he was on that Kentucky team that had
he was really good when he came out, bro.
He was all in college.
Right, but I mean he also played behind Cat in college. Because they both went to Kentucky. But think of a modern day Tyson Chandler. That's who Willie Cauley-Stein is. He catches at the rim, gonna defend it at a good level. Or maybe even his former teammate, Rayshawn Holmes. Rayshawn Holmes is someone I would trade for in a heartbeat. I think his energy is what Boston would need. He rebounds well. He will punch your shit out of bounds and let you know it. Like I think he's another guy. But yeah, Terrence Ross.
You know who's a free agent this year?
And all those guys. You
know who's a free agent this year that I would get just so the other teams in the East don't have him is PJ Tucker.
You stole that from me.
Did I?
Yeah. Fuck him up.
Yeah. Just literally get him so that they don't have him, and he'll defend the wings for you when he can. You know, like he was effective.
Yeah, and I mean that pushes Grant down. You can have him and Grant together out there. He can help Grant.
I think he'd be so good for Grant, man. He'd be so good for him.
He could, and then you could make him into like a Sam Cassell type in the deeper runs of the playoffs if Grant steps up.
Yeah,
you know,
he could be like a player coach on the side.
That's what I mean. I like his mentality. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you guys one more?
For sure.
One more hypothetical, right? And then Craig, I promise we'll stop.
Yeah.
I promise. Jaylen Brunson for Marcus Smart. Would you do it?
No.
Okay.
He wasn't. If you're talking about he's going to back up Smart, sure.
I was gonna say I take,
but not. I'm not.
He's beyond backup at this point. He's an all-star.
No, he's an all-star, but he'll get New York's gonna pay him like an all-star, which is why he's probably going to signing there. So you heard say it first. He's going to sign probably with New York Knicks, and then this will go out there. And Craig could put that on there. You heard it here at MCP first. Jaylen Brunson probably go sign in New York, or someone's going to give him a big deal. But either way,
3 J's though.
Yeah, that would be great. First time since Dallas, right? Dallas had Jamal Mashburn, Jason Kidd, and Jim Jackson back in the days.
All right, hear me out.
We got
veteran minimum. John Wall. Let's just see. He's got one more left in him.
I'll give you this. That's better than my Russell Westbrook take last year.
Oh my God. Come on. You know what the worst one about Mike Russell Westbrook is? The absolute worst part about that
he meant it.
is that the Lakers heard the fucking show and they were like, yeah, let's fucking
Well,
Asian Mike. Good job, Mike. Well done.
That's great. And that's how we're closing out. So for the real BK and DK Sizzle, our executive producer Craig D'Alessandro, I'm Rayshawn Buchanan. We'll see you next time. Peace.